Hello and welcome to the first Behind the Wall for 2021. I'm Stan Grant. Normally, people across the globe would be coming together in the coming days to celebrate Lunar New Year, heralding the Year of the Ox. But with the pandemic still causing havoc, it's expected to be a more muted affair compared to usual, with many events either cancelled or scaled back. A significant event in the Asian calendar, the ushering in of the new year, is deeply rooted in tradition and ritual. And joining me now to explain why is Jennifer Wong, a Lunar New Year enthusiast and reporter with ABC Everyday. Gung hei fa choi, Jennifer.
Oh, gong hei fa choi, Stan. So nice to spend New Year's Eve with you.
It's fantastic. It's one of my favourite times of the year. But this year, a bit different, I'd imagine, with COVID and some of the restrictions in place.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are very used to by now, keeping our social distance and everything. But when it comes to New Year, it really is about closeness and family. So a lot of things that people, I think in the past would have taken for granted, like, having a really large family gathering in a lot of parts of the world at the moment, you can't actually do that. For example, in Singapore, it's limited to 8 people per family, I think, that can gather together. In Australia, in Sydney, that's a little bit different. I think we can have up to 30 people, which is great. But it's very different. Lots of festivities that would happen usually, like the really bright and vivacious lion dances that we just associate with this time of year, can't go ahead because of social distancing. I happened to see a lion dance in Sydney a couple of days ago, and when they revealed at the end who was actually doing the dance, both of the dancers were masked.
Wow.
So yeah, so people are taking precautions, but it really has put a dampener on the celebration, I think.
Is there the same sense? I know when the clock ticked over to 2021 and there was a real palpable sense of relief. Whew, 2020's out of the way. The year of the rat's out of the way and now the year of the ox. Is that same sense of relief?
I think there's an anticipation and certainly a hope that the following year will bring a sense of newness. I think that people who've experienced the turnover from 2020 to 21, though, a lot of us are kind of going, well, it seems to be quite similar to the previous year. So I think the idea, though, is, we're saying goodbye to the old and we're hoping to clear away things literally in some cases, for example, in cleaning the home, to make way for the new luck that's supposed to come with the year of the ox. So some people are saying that, this last year of the rat that we've had has certainly been bad and will not be as bad again for another 60 years until the next year of the rat. But I guess a lot of us are just hoping so much that the year of the ox will bring in a new sweep of good luck.
Now let me ask you this, speaking of luck, have you cut your hair?
I haven't been able to get an appointment, Stan. I haven't been able to get an appointment.
And that's a no-no. No, you don't.
I know. So now I have to wait till well after the new year so that I don't cut my luck away, because the word for hair sounds the same as the word for luck. So you're not supposed to cut your hair. Also not supposed to wash your hair. So have you pre-washed your hair, Stan?
I have. So I might have washed away some of my luck and I don't have a lot to go around.
Oh, no. You're fine. Just don't do it tomorrow on the new year. So you're fine. You're good to go, I think. Nice and clean for the new year.
And speaking of words you can't say, the letter, and I won't say it, starts with an F and comes after 3.
Yes, let's not say that. Many reasons not to say that word, mainly because it sounds like the word for death. And until I started to look at all the different customs for ABC Everyday a couple of years ago, I didn't realise how superstitious the Chinese can come across. And then I realised that's because we are just so superstitious. It's not a matter of coming across as superstitious. There's just a lot of superstition. So the idea of doing things that are good for you, that are lucky for this time of year, include things like eating sweet rice dumplings. I'm not sure if you've had these with the soup.
I have mooncakes as well.
Yes, that's right.
Which is a staple
nice
of this
round.
time of the year. Yeah.
So it's the idea that that is a round food. It's a sweet food. So it's inviting lots of sweetness and reunion. The idea of being around a round table with your family. So lots of things like that we do that are all based on homonyms and words sounding the same. So for a language with lots of words that sound the same, this is a particular particularly happy and delightful time for people to enjoy those word plays.
And Jennifer, for me and my family, we'd had over 10 years in China, and this became just part of our lives. The fireworks and the massive movement of people in mainland China, because everyone's going back home. And it became part of our tradition. I'm wondering in Australia too, is it no longer just a Chinese tradition, but it's become part of Australia's tradition as well?
Well, I think that's a really good point, Stan. And for a lot of people, of course, this time of year is not just celebrated by Chinese people, but Korean people, Vietnamese people. It's a significant holiday in Indonesia and, of course, for Chinese diaspora in Singapore and Malaysia. But in Australia in particular, like I think about how I used to celebrate New Year when I was growing up as a kid in Australia. And that would mean going into Chinatown and you'd hear the drums of the lion dancers go right through your body. You know, you'd see the fireworks and that sound seemed to go right through your body as well. But now in the last couple of years, like we know that, for example, the Lunar New Year festival in the city of Sydney is one of the largest in the world outside of Asia. It takes over many streets in the city of Sydney with the lanterns of the different animals, really huge, like everywhere that you can go on a walking trail. And when I look around at those kinds of events, I see people from non-Asian backgrounds, people from all different backgrounds going into the city and enjoying that as a festivity the way that you would, say, for example, look at Christmas lights, you know, a couple of months ago.
Can I just ask you really quickly too about this moment in time? Because yes, we all get to share in this New Year tradition, but we know there's also a period of increasing tension with China, Australia, China more broadly, with much of the rest of the world. Are you conscious of that this year and how that may hang over this year's Chinese New Year?
I think when we look at how Chinese people exist in the news space, this time of year is a really nice time where if you look around at most of the different news channels and media organisations, they're covering the Chinese experience, certainly in Australia anyway, as one that comes from, I'm going to say it, quite a humane perspective. And what I mean by that is here we are looking at people when they're at a moment in time where they're celebrating things like longevity or good health or prosperity or their children doing well at school or the family being together, right? These are things to do with core values that perhaps aren't taken into account when we think of Chinese people in broad strokes as, for example, spies or people who bulk buy milk powder, that kind of thing. So I think if there's a good time for it to happen, that we take a look at how Chinatown businesses are struggling at the moment because of COVID, or how takeaway businesses are doing really well, and think about the people behind these storefronts and stories, I think that can only be good. And I hope that it's something that can continue throughout not only the Lunar New Year, but the Gregorian year, that we just kind of take a look at what happens when we examine the people behind these stories and not just something happening at a nation-to-nation level.
Not just the politics. Terrific to talk to you. Have a fantastic New Year, everything that comes with it, and good luck.
Happy New Year to you, Stan. Thank you.